And we are back. Roll up, everybody, gather, come and join. One man went to mow that afternoon session again. So the session about to commence, and you just need to be here to participate. The session commences, and your company is required. Gather, come and join. I know it's a bit short notice, but you should be in anticipation of it because we usually do it around about this time of the day. So we're doing it again around about this time of the day. So gather, come and join. One man went to mow, the eagle has landed.
Only water, water, only water, where they see ma. Water, 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 water. Only water, where they see ma. Hapa o naido. Hapa you don't come o. Hapa o naido. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù yé o. Ilé sọ́díyà kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù ré o. Bobby master kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù ré o. Chifu fáìlà tí kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù ré o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mù dé. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ẹlẹ́mù dòdò jàre o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ Ghana ti dé ẹgbẹ́ pàtó. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹyẹ o ó dilé o. Odúyẹ̀lá ẹyẹ o ó dilé o. Petrosoname ẹyẹ o ó dilé o. Petrosodunke ẹyẹ rẹ̀ ó dilé o. Ẹlẹ́kọ̀ ọ̀run mú ìní o. Àkùkọ ọ̀run mẹ́kọ̀. Ikú kò ní rí wà gbéṣe o.
And there we are. Iku koneriwa gbeshe igbala tele he. The Kegites Iku koneriwa gbeshe as guys I bring you this. Feeding allowance for Nigerian prisoners more than that of graduates serving the nation. Youth Service Corps DG. So alarming yet surprising because of course we know that the only thing that they feed Nigerian prisoners is insects mixed with beans. Not beans that has insects, but insects that have beans. This is what insects that have beans, sand and insects that has beans. That is what they feed Nigerian prisoners. So quite how that is now more than the budget for NYSC. I wonder what the population sizes of both spaces, because we know that a lot of people graduate from Nigerian universities, and we know that there are a lot of prisoners in Nigeria. But nevertheless, feeding allowance of Nigerian prisoners more than that of graduates serving the nation. Youth Service DG. So, still on that budget, Buhari's 2022 budget for meals, others more than allocation for projects in 14 teaching hospitals. Group laments, group lambast rather the presidency. So it is this wolf again. What they just do, you see that budgeting for meals and budgeting for Asuro Clinic, etc., etc. They are not necessarily budgeting for those specificities. They are budgeting to the presidency. So they take that money and then they just share it amongst themselves. Essentially, is what it means. Buhari is not going to eat more than Buhari can eat, and Buhari doesn't look like a man that has more than a meal a day. And of course, we're saying Buhari's meals. We're not saying just him, his family, the state house, functions, etc. But all of that still should not be more than the allocations for 14 teaching hospitals. But that is what we do in Nigeria. Buhari's 2022 budget for meals others, more than allocation for projects in 14 teaching hospitals. Group lambasts the presidency. So it looks as though it is fait accompli now, game over in Anambra State. Anambra decides SOLUDO wins all 10 of 21 local government areas declared. So essentially, we have a new governor in situation now. Not even INEC can rig this one. Not even Mahmoud Yakubu can rig this one. So it looks as though it is fait accompli now within that space. Anambra decides SOLUDO wins all 10 of the 21 local governments are declared. So our governor-elect, essentially, what we have, Chukuma SOLUDO, the man who will be governor. So they're already celebrating and venerating. But elections in Nigeria, of course, are never complete without this sort of a headline. INEC official absconds with 40 Anambra poll result sheets. So yes, so now we know that we are having an election in Nigeria because the narrative is never complete without this headline. INEC official absconds with 40 Anambra poll result sheets. So there you are, business as usual within the Nigerian space. So categorical rejection now, it will take some moving to have this guy in situation because everybody seems to be looking for a way to swipe him off his feet. 2023 presidency, we won't support any candidate above 60 years, Arewa youth. So we know, of course, where they are pointing that comments to, Tinubu especially, and whoever is swept up alongside him. Again, the headline, 2023 presidency, we won't support any candidate above 60 years, a headline attributed to the Fulanis. So there you are, a categorical rejection all the way through. So we take a pause, a breather, and then we come in via the eastern quarters because that is where we are going to spend the bulk of the time. Another Python dance.
Python dance 1, Python dance 2, now Python dance 3. Unapoli Mary Nandi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2, now Python dance 3. Unapoli Mary Nandi go onye do I more. O Mary woni zu biroya abakare. Mamanda ora, Unapuri Mary Nandi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2, now Python dance 3. Unapuri Mary Nandi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2, now Python dance 3. Unapuri Mary Nandi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2, now Python dance 3. Unapoli Mary Nandi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2, and Python dance 3. Unapoli Mary Nandi win the war. Python dance 1, Python dance 2, and Python dance 3. Unapoli Mary Nandi.
And there we are. Python dance, Nnamdi win a war. Python dance, Nnamdi win a war. So Python dance, Nnamdi win a war. As guys, I bring you this. Feeding allowance of Nigerian prisoners more than that of graduates serving the nation. Youth Service Corps DG laments to the space. The Director General of the National Youth Service Corps NYSC has called for an increase in the feeding allowance of corps members. He lamented that inmates in the facilities of the Nigerian Correctional Service feed better than graduates serving their country. Speaking at the House Committee on Youth Development for Budget Defense on Wednesday, Ibrahim said corps members were served a meal worth 216 naira, our correspondent report. He, however, urged the House of Representatives to raise the allocation for feeding in the scheme for the 2022 budget. In October, the Senate Committee on Interior had increased the daily feeding allowance of the Nigerian Correctional Service from its current 450 naira per person to a minimum of 1,000 naira per day. So 1,000 naira per day broken into 3 meals, that is still less than 450 per person, I would suggest. But 216 per meal times 3, that is around about 600 and a bit, 650 pounds thereabout. So 650 pounds thereabout to youth corpers per day, and a whopping 1,000 naira per day to prisoners. Officials of the NCS were at the Senate to defend the 2022 budget of the service, where they proposed an increment of the daily feeding allowance to 750 naira. The committee, however, described the amount as grossly inadequate and increased it in line with the current economic realities, pledging to undertake an upward review of inmate pledging to undertake an upward review of inmate feeding cost from 450 to 1,000 naira per day. In his presentation, Ibrahim said the budget of the NYSC remains the same over the years, the DG said. The only thing that I will tell you here is that sometime last year, I promised the committee at the NYSC we are putting on our thinking cap that I don't want us to always go cap in hand begging for funds, so that at least we should do something to bring in revenue to the table. This I did last year, and we generated over 280 million naira, which we paid into the Federation account. Our challenge is in the area of feeding. The budgetary approval for feeding per core members is 650 naira, which is grossly inadequate. By the time you divide it by the 3 meals per day, that is 216 naira per meal. So we are appealing to this committee to please help us out. Even recently, at the Ministry of Interior, the feeding of prisoners was increased to 1,000 naira. So if we can feed criminals with 1,000 naira, our graduates are putting their lives in the service of our country. I pray that this committee should please do something about it. The chairman of the committee, Yemi Aderamodu, earlier in his opening remark, noted that the NYSC had overhead cost, as it was not a revenue generating agency, but one that managed people, especially young Nigerians. So there you are. It costs more. They budget more. This is just Nigeria, isn't it? They budget more, almost twice as much to feed prisoners as they do to feed our youth corpers. So there you are. That tells its own story. Buhari's 2022 budget for meals. Buhari's 2022 budget for meals, others, are more than allocation for projects in 14 teaching hospitals, group lambast the presidency. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has condemned the presidency for allocating 26 billion in the 2022 budget for meals, travels, refreshment, and the presidential wing of the State House Clinic, which is more than the budget for projects in 14 teaching hospitals put together. From the proposed budget, about 19.17 billion naira only was budgeted for ongoing and new projects at 14 university teaching hospitals in the country, with the University of Jos Teaching Hospital getting as low as 908 million naira allocation. In a suit filed before the Federal High Court, Abuja, Syrup argued that the huge spending by the presidency is neither necessary nor in the public interest, particularly with regards to the scant allocations to education and health. A statement released by the group noted According to reports, the proposed 26 billion naira on travel, meals, refreshment, and the presidential wing of the State House Clinic is more than the proposed allocation for ongoing and new projects in 14 teaching hospitals combined. 19.17 billion is allocated to the following teaching hospitals: Unilag Teaching Hospital 1.69 billion, Abu Teaching Hospital 2.38 billion, University College Ibadan 1.49 billion, and UNN Teaching Hospital 1.38 billion. So it goes on to list all the monies allocated to all of the teaching hospitals, and the sum total of it significantly less than Buhari is using to eat suya in Aso Rock. So there you are. That is Nigeria. Anambra decides. Soludo wins all 10 of the 21 local government areas declared. So essentially now Soludo wins the governorship election. So if he has won 10 out of the 21 declared, I don't then see why he should not take an equal share, if not the majority of the 11 remaining. So essentially, the governor now, we know who he is. Anambra decides. Soludo wins all 10 of the 21 local governments declared. Professor Charles Soludo, former Central Bank of Nigeria governor, but that is deputy governor though. So Professor Charles Soludo, former Central Bank of Nigeria, it should say deputy, so I'll insert deputy there. Former Central Bank of Nigeria deputy governor. Was he governor? He was actually governor, so that's my mistake. It was Mogalu that was deputy. So let me start that all over again. I was being a bit too clever for my own good. Professor Charles Soludo, former Central Bank of Nigeria governor and candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance APGA in Saturday's Anambra State governorship election, is maintaining an early lead, beating other top contenders, Mr. Valentine Ozigbo, candidate of the People's Democratic Party PDP, and Senator Andy Uba of the All Progressive Congress in the results of the 10 of the 21 local governments so far declared. Soludo has so far won all 10 local governments declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission, including Aguata, the local government of the 3 leading candidates. Here are details of the results. So it gives us then a breakdown of the results, which I'm not going to bother to read through. But essentially, the upshot of it is that Soludo is just taking now an unassailable lead almost. So in all of the figures, is almost twice over as many votes as the next candidate. Let me give you the one for Onocha local government area. APC 2,085 votes, APGA 6,911, and PDP 5,108. So that seems to be the theme that runs all the way through. Anambra East local government area, PDP 1,380, APGA 9,746, APC 2,034. Anambra West, APC 303, APGA 4,584, APC 381. So that just tells you there's no coming back from this. So Aqua South local government area, PDP 4,489, APGA 12,891, APC 2,595. And that is the story all the way through. Orumba South local government area, PDP 1,672, APGA 4,394, and APC 2,060. So essentially, that's the governor of Anambra State. I think we're there now. Chukwuma Soludo, the man who will be governor, so they're now profiling him. It is getting increasingly likely that the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA, Chukwuma Soludo, will emerge as the winner of the yet-to-be-concluded Anambra State governorship election, which commenced on Saturday. SOLUDO, who had earlier amassed more votes in each of the earlier announced 6 local government areas, has also led its opponents in 2 additional local government areas, Agwata and Orumba North. He won Andy Uba of the All Progressive Congress APC and Valentine Ozigbo of the People's Democratic Party PDP in Agwata local government area. The 3 top contenders native council, but the 3 gladiators had won in their respective polling units in a very likely event of the direction of victory remaining till the announcement of the final result. SOLUDO will begin to receive congratulatory messages for realizing an age-long dream of occupying the number 1 political office of Anambra State. In a climate where corruption scandal is a common tag for public office holders, maintaining a spotless public image years after a 5-year term of overseeing Nigeria's number 1 treasury house is not a common feat. That is the story of the last but one governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Since leaving the CBN top job, the 60-year-old professor of economics has remained a star, meaning different things to different people who view him from the angles of excellence, integrity, performance, and the rest of his core values. As CBN governor, he demystified the banking sector, performing what most Nigerians thought was impossible, including the banking sector reform, a revolutionary recapitalization exercise that pruned operators with less than 25 billion capital base of the nation's banking landscape. The motive was to put an end to hitherto recurring bank liquidation that saw customers losing hard-earned deposit. There is no gainsaying that the multiplier effect of that historic step was phenomenal, as thousands of people secured jobs in bigger banks that eventually emerged. Many more jobs were created. So it just goes on to laud his achievements and what he will be bringing to that seat. So there we are, a governor-elect. But as I said, no election is ever complete in Nigeria without this headline. INEC official absconds with 40 Anambra poll result sheet. A presiding officer in the ongoing Anambra State governorship election has run away with about 42 result sheets of the exercise. The coalition officer of Idimili, South Local Government Area of the state, announced this at the headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC in Akwa, the state capital, during the ongoing collation of results on Saturday. He said given the incident, elections could not hold in the affected area. So there you are. That is just an election is never complete in Nigeria without that headline. INEC official absconding, but we've not yet heard the thumb printing in some derelict school. That is another must-have of a Nigerian election narrative. Some people in some derelict school sitting on bench chairs, thumb printing election sheets. So we've not yet seen those images come out from Anambra yet. 2023 presidency, we won't support any candidate above 60 years, Arewa youths. Yerima Shatima, the president of sociocultural group Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, has ruled out the possibility of supporting any presidential aspirant who is above the age of 60 ahead of the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria. Yerima said he is in support of former head of state General Ibrahim Babangida retired statement that Nigerians should look for a younger person as their president in 2023. Speaking with journalists on Saturday, November the 6th, Yarima said, "We have made our position very clear that we will not pitch our tent with any old generation. This is not because it is not their right to contest, but you can rest assured that we will only campaign for young generation. We will be looking forward to those that are in their 40s and 50s. We have been sensitizing the youth on this who have been recycling themselves. We have been sensitizing the youth on the we have rather been sensitizing the youth on those who have been recycling themselves over and over again without being able to provide answers to our issues. So we want to, for once, do it for ourselves. And I am sure we have the strength to do it. We are looking inward for capable hands in the younger generation this time around," he said. On restructuring, Yerima said, "I have been talking about this over concentration of power. And if we continue to do this, we will continue to have funny people with funny characters occupying some of these political spaces." So a lot not to disagree with from what the Aboki youths have to say. So to the Aboki youths, Ovie, I see you. Ajan Lekoko, the mighty, I see you. So to you first, Ovie Whiskey, what says you? Wagwan.
Not very much, not very much.
So are we saying congratulations then to the former CBN governor? Fait accompli, 10 out of 10 of the declared results so far, 11 left. And if you look at the margin, forget it.
Well, in
Game over.
in the APC-led administration, it's not over until it's over.
Yeah, I think this one is over. I cannot say.
It's unfortunately that I have to be seeing it that way. It's not over until it's over. So finger crossed. So I mean, if it happened in Imo,
I'm not sure. Well, maybe they can go through the courts, but I'm not sure that anything can prevent this declaration. If you look at the results, I don't think anything can change this, because if they are looking to rig, you already see it in the results. Let me just give you this. This is the local government that they all share together. They all come, all the three leading ones, APC, PDP, and ABGA, they come from Aguata local government area. This is what happened there. APC 4,773, ABGA 9,136, PDP 3,798. And that is the way it ran all the way through. By the closest person, he's almost double in numbers of votes. So, I'm not sure. I'm not sure even APC, if they want to rig it, we already start seeing it in those figures.
There are two ways to pass, three ways to pass through to win election: through the vote, through INEC, and through the Supreme Court, I should say. So so far, one phase has gone, which is the voting. The second phase is almost concluding, which is the INEC pro-president. We'll see what the Supreme Court will say, because that's why.
But he will be declared, though. That much we can say. And in fact, it will be declared sometime today.
It's just so sad that I'm hesitating to agree with you. It's sad because it happened in Imo. We know how clearly it plays out.
Emeka Ihidioha won, and he took the victory, and it was therefore. Sorry, Alexander has sideswiped me with the ball. I'll come to that in a moment. He was there for about 6-7 months. Huh?
Is it not a month? Is it for
No, I think he was there for about 6-7 months before they diddled him out. So he was declared. But let me acknowledge Alexander's super chat and then address it. So Alexander is saying, congratulations, Professor Soludo. The legacy lives on first. First one of 10 donations. It is a done deal. 2023 election is going to be mouth-watering. So thank you for the super chat, Alexander. But as I said, let me say it now. I'm not holding you to, because you were driving, it was an off-the-cuff comment. and I can't not hold you hostage to that. So I'm not holding you hostage to that. So that would suffice. Just this one super chat would suffice. So that is you now. So you are now absolved of that bet because I'm not going to hold you hostage.
If you don't need the 1,000, I need it.
No, it's not. It's not really. Alexander can easily afford 1,000.
That's what I'm saying.
He spends that on lunch every single day. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to hold him hostage to just the casual comments that he made.
Alexander, I will take it on his behalf.
No, don't worry. Don't worry. Alexander, he super chats about £30 a day, almost every day. So he super chats almost $1,000 every month to this platform just by.
So one man, let me take it on your behalf. So
no, it's fine. It's fine. It was driving. It was a throwaway comment, and that's how I saw it. But
one man, I agree with you. It's a chicken change. So I'll take it on your behalf. It's a chicken change.
I know it's chicken change to Alexander, but
Alexander.
Let's
All right, let's go.
But this one, it really rather befuddles me somewhat. Almost twice over, feeding allowance of Nigerian prisoners more than that of graduates serving the nation. Almost double. This is what they are saying, and we all know that those are crow beans that they feed prisoners in Nigeria. So quite how that is more than, but just in terms of budgeting, we leave the stealing aside for the moment. Just in terms of budgeting, the prisoner gets 1,000 naira per head per meal, and the youth corper gets about 600 and something naira per meal, 650 naira per meal. How can that be?
It's a racket. A couple of days ago, I was talking about how one day we should pay attention to the civil servants. Part of the politicians who are, swinging in and out with our money. They didn't aid the pros, the professionals. They are those guys who run the bureaucracy of the federation and the state and local government, and all the paramilitary, whatever. Those are the guys who are actually, sucking the nation dry. And this is one of it. This business, somebody is actually, we're going to actually say that money is actually being spent on the prisoner. No. So somebody is cashing out of that.
Yeah, no, somebody is cashing out. So that's the corruption end of it. So we'll come to that in a moment. But in terms of the budgetary end of it, the assembly, they are approving 1,000 naira per head for prisoners and 650 for youth corpers. How can that be?
Wait, the youth corper, how are youth corper being fed by government?
No, when they're in camp, when they're in camp, whatever it is.
Oh, when they're in camp, okay.
Yes,
which is what, six? How many?
It doesn't matter. They have to be well fed now. They have to be well fed.
It should be
650 naira. Can you even go to Buka with 650 naira and have a meal?
What I'm trying to say is that it should be more, since it's just a period of just how many days or weeks they stay in Canada, and the prisoner who is there for years and some people for life. It's crazy. I don't know why they
I'm not sure. Is it not the case? It's not the case that they get feeding allowance all the way through their service.
Why was 600 It's not.
That's what I'm saying. You can't go to Buka with 650 naira. Even Eba, one wrap of Eba even is 650 naira. Now I don't know what's the going rate in Buka.
Well, but now that I think of it, when we did camp as a national, we get up to that I don't know.
Yeah, boy, no, it's inflation now, but so current to the space. But just the idea, 650 to 1,000 naira per head per day for
it's not even per meal. It's not even up. It's not. You can't even. It's not. I don't know.
It should be the other way around, shouldn't it? The copper should be getting 1,000 naira per head, which is not per day, which is not even enough. And the prisoner should be getting 650, which is not even enough. But
Yeah, that's why I say that there should have been more because of the time, even the time period they stay in the camp. Now weeks, now been like days. Yeah, I mean, yeah, weeks, not even up to months. And I mean, it just is it the idea of the money saves sound. I don't know, maybe that because I don't they stayed away for a minute. It just sounds ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It is
I
ridiculous.
remember when I was in Qatar and
Not even restaurant, or I'll be surprised if 600 and 50 naira can take you to Buka. Not restaurant or Buka.
yes, it's still because I'm trying to set an example. My experience when I was in Qatar, then they sent us to camp in Greece. We are in camp in Greece. We are in hotel, but still, I remember we are entitled to 75 euro per meal. 75 euro per meal. So that's why when you say 1,000 naira, which is not like what, $1, it sounds crazy. I mean, 600 for a youth corper, which is almost the same thing, the same assignment everybody there on. It is Nigeria. But how much they now? If we want to look at it the other way around, our ministers, what is their feeding allowance?
Forget that one. Forget that one. $50,000 for breakfast, $50,000 for lunch, and $150,000 for dinner every single day. Those ones are just living. I'm surprised they're even walking on their feet. They should be having some, those Roman stools and have people carrying them to walk around. This just eating life like,
I'm sorry.
Forget those ones. No, I was going to. Is that a art piece? That thing in your? Did you buy it from an antique shop? Because I'm going to change my background in a moment. That piece behind you. What is it?
Yeah, it's actually
Yes, I thought so. Yes, where did you buy it from?
Man, one man. Let's go. Let's continue.
No, I wanted to know if it's an antique. I wanted to know if it's an antique, or I wanted to know if it's a one-off or mass-produced. But
no,
okay.
It's actually it's pretty much everywhere.
All right. No, you should celebrate your art now. What is wrong with that? Alexander is celebrating it, and so am I. Let me take you there. Still within that budget, they are budgeting 26 billion naira for Buhari's meals and refreshments. Buhari doesn't look like a man that has more than a meal a day, so I don't know, who is eating on his behalf. Are they killing 10 loose?
Hey, come on, it's our president.
If you are budgeting, I should have done the breakdown. 26 billion for meals, refreshments, etc.
For 4 years?
No, that's 1 year now. 26 billion.
Well, it's the president, man. This is the finest thing in life.
But they were then doing comparisons to how much they gave the teaching hospitals in Nigeria. The totality of it is not up to half what Buhari is using to eat suya in Aso Rock.
At that level.
How much does that come to per day? Even somebody should do the maths. 26 billion.
I think if the president decides the finance, the finance, that's the apex in life. So it decides the finance.
That's over in excess of 2 billion per month for suya in Aso Rock.
I've not been to Aso Rock.
2 billion, over 2 billion naira per month for suya in Aso Rock. This is the budget.
Two of my elder brothers, privileged enough to work in that same Aso Rock for a couple of months to years. I mean, one thing among all the stories they told me about that, one thing stand out, and the way they emphasized on that was that if you enter Aso Rock, first of all, one went in as a security, quote unquote. He said anything that has to do with security in this world works in Aso Rocks. Humanly, whatever you can think of, but anything you can think of. He said that alone contributes to why most of them, once they get in there, they no one come out. That the life there, the comfort, everything is just something. They never go heaven before, but I mean that could be maybe second to it. So I mean, I understand why those. I mean, I think the president deserves the finest thing in life. I mean,
Yeah, the finest thing in life, but the president has to be consistent with what is in the nation. The
well,
nation cannot be going through this and he be living like the sheikh of you know, of
that's one
Bhutan
thing.
or something, or the emir of Bhutan. He's
That's
not
one.
the emir of
Yeah.
Bhutan,
That's
you
one thing
know.
that troubles me. They have never seen them complain one day. Our legislators, our politicians complain about their salary or they are going on strike because
You know,
I've never heard that even when you
yeah, we are telling everybody else to tighten their belts, and you are loosening yours, and you are even taking off the belt and undoing the
we
top
even know
button.
that
What
during
is
the
this?
pandemic,
You know,
none of them could say, okay, I bet we'll keep our salary for this month to support.
never. Then they will say, "Oh, do you know what I am doing? Do you know how many people I'm taking care of?" You know, I really hate it. You know, there was a time that Obasanjo adopted some child, you know, and a lot of people were celebrating it. And I was saying to my father that that is a good thing. He was so angry. He said, what are you talking about? You know, he said, for him to adopt that child, that child should not be in that position to need that adoption. So Obasanjo has ruled that country since independence till date. So if he's adopting a child, saying he's rescuing then he's just highlighting his own failure and his own shame. So this is the thing. No sense of propriety, no sense of right. You are 26 billion naira for Suya in Aso Rock. Unbelievable.
Wait,
You
wait.
know?
But this man is a farmer. I ask cows. Why are you going to buy suya?
Don't mind him.
No, but I know you were just, being, trying to.
Well, meals and refreshment is what they call it. Is that not Suya? That's Suya now.
But
Refresh.
26
Be
billion.
with other food, refreshment does a Fulani no, not other than Suya and
26 billion
Kulinkuli.
for
Suya
a,
and Kulinkuli.
for a country that its youth, barely he can feed a day when he's on a national assignment. And you have a president. I mean, I don't know. See, that's why I say our problem is us. We just need to actually sit down and ask so many questions. It doesn't make sense when the country that pride itself as the
You know their biggest problem is that we have no checks and balances and no auditing system in the Nigerian structures.
No,
So they have a budget, they release the money, and nobody then goes through to check receipts. You don't know, but there's no receipt checking
One man,
process. Yeah.
one man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, they
Wow.
do.
Do they?
We have auditing system.
Mm-hmm.
The ministry in Nigeria at the federal level and the state level have internal auditors that have to audit every penny that is spent in that system. But the problem we have is that when the people, the way they structure the ministries, the auditor is responsible to the permanent secretary. And the permanent secretary, as one of the people at the top, whenever he colluded with the ministers, what do you think the auditor will do? If the auditor is trying to do, if the auditor is trying to do his job normally and questioning their spending or questioning the violation of the accounting standard and accounting rules, they will fire him or transfer him to another ministry and bring another person that will collude with them to perpetrate that corruption. That is the way you work.
All right. Traditionally, when they send in a minister, he gets rid of the people in charge of the money and brings his own people in. That's just the way it works.
So one man.
So essentially, it's still the same thing. But yeah, Jafar.
Yeah, but that's the role of the National Assembly. They have an oversight function. It is their place to see that the budget is actually executed as they voted for it. So if the National Assembly, you can't expect the executive to be the player and referee to itself. It's not going to work. So our problem is the lack of oversight by the National Assembly. For the most part, they collude with the executive. That's the problem we're having.
That is the problem.
That collusion is what is killing us. You see,
Yes.
collusion is what is killing us. And, even an auditor, for an auditor to even achieve, to do the job well, there mustn't be collusion. When there is collusion among all that is going to audit, it's going to be very, very even difficult for the auditor to even achieve result or come out with a meaningful result. It might detect some things, but it won't be able to detect everything in as expected. So collusion, amen.
Those people actually we could just mention, those directors, those whatever, those are the pillars of the corruption ministry that we talk about. Those are the permanent pillar. Now then they aid the police. Most of the politicians are JJC now. I mean, if you carry somebody who read whatever to come ahead on other different, to come and be someone who read English, for instance, to come and be a minister of health. He rely on those people he met in the ministry to do whatever he wants to. So now them be the real people that we should actually be focused on from time to time, because as I said, if
there's so many insertions missing in the Nigerian Constitution. It should be an insertion in the Nigerian Constitution that whoever heads a ministerial portfolio should be of that discipline. So you cannot have a minister of health that are read, like you said, Yoruba, somebody that is a Yoruba PhD. Even with his PhD, you cannot make him Minister of Health now, even though he's an administrator, but he must have some,
Well,
it's not done anywhere in the world.
Well, we don't have to. We can evolve our own system,
Right? Yeah, that's another argument. Yes, yeah, but I think the argument against it is that those who actually follow the what you just said have not actually done themselves any good, or
Maybe the Minister of Health is a medical doctor, and we see how he's behaving in Gige.
Well, we have
ministers
who actually hold a portfolio of what they actually specialize on, and they still do hopefully
Sorry, Ngige is not what?
It's not the Minister of Health. It's the Minister of Labor.
Labor, all right, okay. Oh yeah, but he's the one fighting the doctors, isn't he? Yeah, all right. Thank you for that correction, Jafar. But Ovie, let me now take you to this space. The northern youths, then they are speaking a lot of it. If you just setting aside that they are the northern youth, you cannot really essentially disagree with a lot that they have to say. Our 2023 presidency, we won't support any candidate above the age of 60. So they are saying that they align themselves with Buhari's Babangida's assertion that Nigeria should now make a generational leap in terms of leadership. And what they are saying is we are looking forward to those that are in their 40s and 50s, and they are capping it off at 60, that nobody above that age will be anybody that they seek to support. So they're saying that they are fed up with the recycling of these people. It says, and they are also saying they are for restructuring, by the way. So this is Derima, who is their lead face. It says, we have made our position very clear that we will not pitch our tent with any old generation. This is not because it is not their right to contest, but you can be rest assured that we will be only campaigning for younger generations. So that is what he is saying. And on restructuring, he says, I have been talking about this over concentration of power. And if we continue to do this, we will continue to have funny people with funny characters occupying some of these political spaces. So a lot that this guy has to say, it's very difficult to disagree with. But I do think he's pointing it particularly politically. And do you think this is a sponsored position of Arewa youths?
I mean, yes, I mean, they are not, well, I mean, they didn't say anything wrong. I totally agree with their submission. Yes, I did directly to Tinubu. I mean, you will say yes because even though he hasn't come out categorically to say I am running for presidency, but there's every indication out there that is the front runner, and I think that's why those who are OG in the game don't just come out and talk anyhow. They wait till the last minute before they actually say yes or no because of this kind of attack. So you see more of this kind of course, it's a sponsored group of young politicians from that part of the country or the APC wing.
You know that comment sweeps up Yemi Osinbajo as well.
Yes, that's what I'm going to. I don't. Anybody that wants to buy into Babangida.
Is this Yaya Bello talking? Essentially,
I mean,
is this Yaya Bello talking?
You can see. No, I think this is they are actually pointing at Yemi Osinbajo. But anybody that wants to buy into Babangida's opinion or wish, if you may say, should not just pick and choose what suits them. They should do totally what the man says.
No, you can pick and choose now. You pick and choose. No, but is that not what people do? You pick what you do. Do you agree with the totality of what anybody says? You pick what you agree with and you discard what you don't.
In this case, if I want to agree with Babangida, every point should be. I mean, you should look for somebody who is well accepted.
No, you look at every point on its merits. The one that you find agreeable, you agree with. The one you don't find agreeable, you discard. What are you talking about over here?
But again, it's for me, Tinubu and Osinbajo now one ticket. I don't think.
In the session that I did last night, it was just me and Charles, but we were discussing that the Yoruba youth, they were asking the Obas and that they should just beg Tinubu to step aside and let's just rally behind Yemi. Then we know that we have one Yemi Osinbajo. Then we know that we have just one face,
What I'm trying to say is that if Tinubu cannot clean the ticket, might just have no picking chance because that's one. They are the same people that will make Tinubu to reconsider. Say, okay, the same people say, see, because now if Osinbajo become the president today, I don't care how you see how now Tinubu go all the directive, whatever that is.
No.
See, don't be saying no. Look into it. Who be Osinbajo? It's nobody.
I'm saying no off the back of what we have observed politically. What usually happens is when somebody sponsors you into that seat, when you get into that seat, you realize that seat is so powerful. You are so much more powerful than any and everything, I don't. Tinubu, of course, will always influence him, but Tinubu would not superintend him.
Do you think Tinubu will just, because of his generosity, or I don't want to lose his position, we just carry any person? Come and take this.
No, Osinbajo is not any other person. It's his boy now.
What I'm trying to say, there are some paper you go don't put your pen to. There are some like we are talking about here. Come on. He will not just say no because that guy is a good Christian, a good guy, is loyal. Let's just go like that. No, there's something you go hold him ball so that anytime you want misbehave, you take him out quick.
No.
Okay.
Let me tell you why I'm saying no, Ovie. If Tinubu comes to the realization that the country does not really want him, and people are saying that, look.
Yes, he will support it. That's what I said. Before he supports him, everything.
Hold on, Ovie. If Tinubu comes to that realization that the country does not really want him, which is something that he might well come to realize fairly soon, because they're just fed up with that type of politics. If he knows that they want a new face, then he looks at all of the faces that are available to him, because it is still his slot, so he still gets to pick. He looks at all of the spaces that are available to him. So the only person out of all of the people that are available to him, that's malleable to him, is Oshibanjo. Fashola is too hard a nut to crack. Aregbesola will never do anybody's bidding. Fayemi is a schemer and a plotter. So the only person out of all of the people that are really possible is most probably Oshibanjo. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
that
he will just
it will
be a leap of hope rather than him being able to control him in any way. But he knows that he will be able to get his ears. That's the only thing.
I am still in support if Tinubu produced the president than maybe regular Kaba produced the president. But that's the case.
Yes. No. What we need is a Tinubu era.
Yeah, because it's going to just be a case of a
because Tinubu is the most talented politician we have in Nigeria. You know, that's the
why you people
no, wait, I don't know. I know you don't like it. Just wait before you
championing.
Wait.
Yeah, because he owns the slot at the moment. He owns the slot.
It's going to be a case of a manager and a leader. You understand? It's going to be just going to be a case of a manager and a leader.
Why you people?
Sorry, Ajanle Koko, we're losing you somewhat. If you want to,
I know
he doesn't know nothing.
Yeah, okay.
He has not managed anything well. Hello.
Yes, Ajanle Koko, we understand your
personal manager. You guys should be opting for something different, something new, something good, and not this corrupt element that have nothing. You see what they have done to your country? They are running your country down, and you are dancing after them and beating drum and championing them. Forget about this useless politician, man. Me, I don't get it, man. It's not that one might even say is the most what making the most talented perpetration of corruption.
Yes, corruption is standard fare within the Nigerian space.
Yeah, so that what make him a talented person? He's not talented. We have a lot of people in Nigeria that can transform that country, but these people like this Tinubu never give them chance.
We do.
They never allow them to come in and transform that country. These are the people holding the country down. They are the people. These are the people that have killed that country. Oshibajo, Tinubu, all of them have destroyed that country. And there's no way, there's nothing they can do to rescue it. They cannot rescue it.
But those are the political realities that we have at the moment. Are they not, Ajanle Koko? Are they not the political realities that we have at the moment?
In their party.
No, in Nigeria.
In their party. In their party, we should be championing for different voices.
Yes, we can champion for different voices, but who realistically do you think is going to be the president in 2023 outside of this mix? I'm not saying who do you wish, but who do you think will be? So wish is one thing, think in terms of the political reality is another. So outside of the names that we discussed, who do you think will be the president?
I don't know any one of them because we don't know tomorrow. We don't know anything. What will happen tomorrow.
So then, but what we do know then that the people leading the charge are names like Tinubu, Oshibanjo, and Atiku. So these are the names leading the charge, are they not? So these are the names we have to consider because this seems to be the choices that we have.
This is the reason why Nigeria can. I want to say something. This is why Nigeria can never work. This is the reason why. How can this politician choose our president for why can't the people choose? That's the issue that you can work. The party choosing the president for even the people can choose the president. See, that's the problem. I mean, Nigerians can understand that's the truth.
All right.
Why can the youth choose the president, the politician? Who Tinubu, who what? That guy's old. He's getting sick. We don't need that guy. No, that guy's
old is not a disease, it's not an ailment. It's the passage of time. When you keep saying it like as though
it should be. But Charles is right. Charles is right. It's unhealthy.
On the health is different, but
one man, OPR failed for Nigeria. OPR failed us for Come on, man.
All right, thank you, Charles and Ajanle Koko. So back to you,
it's just as you rightly said. She's wanting to wish, she's wanting to dream. There's another different thing that is reality. In America, there's those now epic of whatever of democracy. Every democratic whatever they look up to America. But as we speak, for the past 30, maybe 40 years, there's no presidential election that comes by that people like the Clintons, the Bush will not come to play. Whether I like it or not, for the past 30, maybe 40 years, every presidency that comes to play, these two families are in the front. So I don't know what the reality, whether we like it or not, Tinubu controls politically the southwestern Nigeria, by extension the whole south. And if you want
that is not true, man. That is not true.
Not something we want to debate on. That is an fact I tell you.
It is not true. They're rigging the election.
Well, I have
that they don't control. Let there be clean, free and fair election. It's not going to win election. It's not going to win in the West.
Anywhere, there's nothing like that.
Look at Ochun. What are you saying? What do you mean that there's no clean election? Look at Ochun. They read Ochun State. We saw what they did to PDP. They rigged Ochun State. They rigged Kwara State. They rigged Kwara State. They rigged Kogi State. What are you talking about?
But he controls it, is what Ovie is saying. He controls it. Whether they rigged it or not, he controls it. He controls Lagos. He controls Osun.
They fraudulently controlling the space.
Yeah, but they control it nevertheless. That's the point.
But you people, I just don't want you people championing this cause that they are in control. They are the one. No, they are fraudulently controlling the place.
See, Ajale Koko, you cannot.
Come on, don't be so assertive. Look, you are too assertive of that control. When you are too assertive of that control, it sounds like yes, it's credibly controlling the place. It's not credibly controlling. It's fraudulently controlling the place.
No, I get what you're saying. Hold on, Ovie. Hold on, Ovie. I get what you're saying, Ajale Koko. The tone may suggest that we are meekly surrendering to illegality. That is almost like we are surrendering to criminal. That we are sort of like we have accepted our fate, sort of.
Accepted that. This is our father. We have to bow to him.
No, but that is not the case. That is the you see when I go after people like Showore, etc. My anger is that the space that we need to fight these people is not being occupied by the fight that we need to bring to them. So we don't have the fight. So these are the realities for the moment. That's just it. So we cannot escape from that reality, even though we were just lamenting now about how they are budgeting 26 billion for Suya in Aso Rock. So that
is Tinubu and their group for you. That is what
you see that we would never accept that because we find it unacceptable. But the way out is not being identified yet. Certainly not via Durotoye or Kanu or Chowore or any of these characters. But
I want you to understand me making case for Tinubu, Showore, or any of them against them doesn't mean I actually agree the way they are playing their game. No, will I play the way they are playing it? No, that is how they are playing at this moment. These people have been doing it for years. If you say they rig election against who? Against person we don't rig before, or against person we go rig to go. Now we are just discussing what they are doing. This is not something we are signing up for.
If there's a realistic alternative in play, that is the conversation we'll be having more than anywhere else. To bring that person really fully to the floor and say, because if we all start to have conversations about an option, then that conversation will. This is what Kanu did now when he was forcing the space and forcing the space. So if we can have a person or an idea to rally behind, then we can push that. But we don't have that. So it is not going to be the likes of, you
I
know.
understand
Yeah.
your. And the
No,
truth
no,
is
but
there's no direction.
I am with you in your resistance of these people, Ajanle Koko.
This is
Very much.
another
In fact, I've
reality.
been resisting these people.
This
The
is
whole
another.
idea of me setting up this platform is to resist. It's a resistance
That's what we
movement,
are
this
doing,
platform.
actually. That's what we are doing.
So against the status quo. But the status
Now,
quo is still what obtains,
look
unfortunately.
at
So that's
another
just it.
reality.
Yeah.
Look at another reality. There's no virtually nowhere you will carry the conversation go. Where you know go put this man Tinubu there. For the fact that even though you won't go church level, he did there. He has stake. He's a permanent stakeholder in the deal. For the fact that he's president and his son. So anywhere you go, he did there. That is because he's been doing it for the years. So if they call it,
all right. Thank you, V. Jafar, did you want to come in?
Yes, I just want to say something regarding rigging of election that Ajali Koko just mentioned. I'm like, it's just curious that the only election in Nigeria that is not rigged is the one that you win. just yesterday, we were all witness to the statement by ABGA that APC was already rigging election. They have already written results for 10 local governments. But just today, I could hear their former national chairman, Dave Umahani, saying this is the best election ever. So it's just funny.
Well, there you go. Now, free and fair. If you are winning, it's free and fair. If you are losing, it's that's
the Dele Faroti say don't die in their war. Now they are be that. So you just look at them.
But that's a global phenomenon, though. Nobody has ever considered that they lost an election fairly. Trump is still in. He's still going around calling himself Mr. President. You know, even though. But thank you, Ovie. Ovie, let me take you to this last talking point. Nigerian elections, as I said, can never go through. It can never be a Nigerian election without this headline. INEC official absconds with 40 Anambra poll result sheets. So, of course, are back to normal. So we are back home. Ovie.
That you say both do why there's corona disappear.
You see?
You know, that's why I said it is not over until it's over.
Because what we usually say, you know those usual videos and photographs that we see them in some school that has no windows, some ramshackle school, thumb printing. That's what we usually see now. So that's still to come. But it looks as though thumb printing or not, stealing result sheets or not, it looks as though the fate has been decided. So thank you.
Yeah,
no, go on. Yeah, have the last word.
See, just like the is saying, who will not be free and fair. So let's see how the election. They are still on it now. They've not finally decided.
They are still on it. So they are still on it.
So that will still come. What's his name? At this, the last of Lai Mohammed and whatever, they have not spoken. So now them be the final. Job. Once the presidency spoke, then we know it's over.
No, it's not about the presidency. Once INEC declares the result, which they have effectively done, then they have a governor. The congratulatory messages are already going into Soludo, but I thank you, Ovie. Ajale Koko, so to that space, then the budget just, I would never, until my dying breath, accept a 26 billion naira suya budget for Aso Rock, 26 billion naira suya budget, more than the budget of 14 universities. What are you making of that, Ajanle Koko? More monies to prisoners than Corpers. This is Nigerian budget for you.
It's simply, looting galore. It's just corruption at the highest level, unimaginable. Is the money for entertainment, or what do you say, woman? Is it for entertainment? It's for entertainment, right?
Feed it a day.
So sorry, it's for feeding, refreshments, and the Aso Rock Clinic wing. So feeding, refreshment, and Aso Rock Clinic wing. So it's essentially just suya. It's just really the sum total of it is suya. It's a suya budget.
that money, can't it feed all of us in that country for a year? If they say they want to give us free meal, money, just free meal, just only meal. If we really want to, spend the money well, free meal every day for just 1 year, is it not enough? But
some organizations, Syrup, they've taken to law to try and stop this because this is too much. It's for meals, travels, refreshment, and the presidential wing of State House Clinic. So it's just meaningless nothing,
I mean, that's just to tell you, let me tell you one man. This is why,
why don't they just say we are budgeting it for looting? At least let them be honest. 26 billion naira budgeted for looting. For looting,
we their budget. Let's just have budget for looting and leave the rest to work.
Why insult our intelligence with all this nonsense? 26 billion naira for looting, budget it, and then if the house approves it, they approve it. So why are you telling us for suya? Who is eating 26 billion naira suya?
So that's tell me that this man we have there at the president today is the most corrupt. Him and his team are the most corrupt ever in the history of that country.
By far.
In the history of that country. And it tells me that this man has been portrayed before the election as a man of integrity, a man of simplicity, a man. It's not. It's not. Look, it just tells me that is the most wicked, the most corrupt ever in the history of that country. All the budget, every bit of all the budget of each ministry comes to his table before he will go take it, collate them together, and now take it and present it before the what do you call it? Before the assembly. So he knows about it. It's under his office. He cannot tell me that he doesn't see it. If he doesn't see it, the what do you call chief of staff that is very close to him must have seen it, as the advisors around him must have seen that the whole job.
That chief of staff is a hardened criminal, Ibrahim Gambari. He's a hardened criminal. The Americans had to chase him out of Myanmar for this wayward ways. They sent him as an envoy to Myanmar. They had to chase him out for this. He's just trying to Fulanize that space.
I used to respect that man, that Ibrahim Gambari, until he came under Buhari, serving, and we can see all this nonsense that is going on while he's there, and he cannot check it. We thought that as a person of a repute within the international diplomatic circle, we thought that he will have brought dignity and a sense of purpose to that office. But while he's occupied that space, he joined forces, he joined hands with the rest to continue this corruption and all this nonsense that we are seeing in that presidency. So this administration allocating so much for feeding and all those nonsense they mentioned, more than refreshment, more than what they allocated for teaching hospitals, all federal teaching hospitals combined. I mean, that is a calamity. That means we are dead people. These people does not have nothing for us.
It's the lack of humanity, the lack of humanity. When we talk about impunity, we don't. This is just every instance is an example, but this is just an example of what we mean when we talk about impunity. And I was watching a Saraki interview on Arise just yesterday, and they were asking him that his successor, is he a rubber stamp man? And he was trying to avoid that question that no, I can't talk about him. I can't talk. But he had a smirk on his face that you could see that he was agreeing, but he wasn't willing to verbalize it. So when they present a 26 billion naira budget for Suya to the House, and they know that Lawan Ahmed is the one in charge, he would just rubber stamp 26. So that is impunity, right? When we talk about impunity, that is it right there.
That is impunity of the highest order. We have never seen anything like this in that country. This is just unbearable, and the more reason why we have to carry out a very strong campaign against these people. We have to use everything we have, including this platform, for Nigerians not to vote for them. They do not mean well for people of that country. They don't care. They don't care about your health care. I mean, your health. They don't care about how the health facility will function. They don't care how the road. They don't care about your education.
How about using that 26 billion naira to turn those teaching hospitals to super hospitals, where the biggest ailments are taken? You know, your broken feet, your whatever. You know, really put that money. Just, I mean, you know, it's something. You know, 26 billion naira for Suya.
It's very shameful, and it just makes us look at you know, like people and a country with no future, because this corruption that we have been seeing, the two parties are perpetrated, all the politicians in that country across the board, from the top to bottom. It's looting galore. So a country like that cannot survive. It's got to break apart, because we are driving towards that. It's going to break apart. It's got to, the same thing they are doing in the state level. If you go to every state of the federation, the same thing they do. They allocated so much money for that executive arms of government against the people's program, against the program that will benefit, will make positive impact in the life of the people. They don't invest on education. They don't invest on healthcare. They don't invest on pipe-borne water. They don't invest on anything good that will transform their society and make people look good in their society. And upon all, they lost everything in security. Security is not, they don't spend, how much did they spend on security, on defense?
No, security usually controls the biggest budget, but not that you would know it from...
I mean, they often loot it too.
Yes. You know, not that you would know it from...
I mean, it looked like that nation is doomed, man. When you listen to, when you see things like this, you just want to hang your hand and just say, okay, bye-bye, just let me go. I can't be part of this. One man. It's just to tell people 26 billion for that small space against the larger space that will benefit the people. It just tells us that it is not APC, and whoever they are bringing in as their candidate, we should see it. They cannot, it's going to be continuation of what they are doing. It's going to be continuation. They cannot stop it. That is what they represent. That is what their party represents. They cannot stop it. They cannot stop this corrupt
the total budget is just short of $40 billion. That is the total budget. But the bulk of it, as you would see, is just either recurring expenditures or a woof. you know. So it's just they set it on a benchmark of I think $57 billion, 57 dollars per barrel or something. So it's just a wolf anyway. That's just anyway.
I have, I have a question.
We
I have
huh?
a question in that space too. Maybe I could go to the answer. Do you think
Yeah.
Moghalu make a mistake for not actually running for governorship under Abga or one of those parties? Because he's from Anambra State.
Okay. Before you answer that question, let me take you to that space. Then you answer it along with the space. So just so we keep consistent with time. So to that space, then it looks as though we have a governor elect in Anambra State, Ajanle Koko, and his name SOLUDO, Charles. 10 out of 10 of the 10 local governments declared, he won all of them by almost twice as much votes that his nearest rival. 11 more to declare, so essentially governor-elect. So to that space, and why did Moghalu not contest, as Ovie was suggesting, Ajanle Koko?
Oh, well, let me answer Ovie first. So the case of Moghalu, I think he's trying to distance himself from politicians. He knows them as people with corrupt mind and people that
but why
perpetrate corruption, and he doesn't want to attach himself with them. Because I could see him as a guy that have a clean heart, that have a genuine purpose of serving, and he doesn't want to serve or mingle with them. There's no way that you want to join with those people that you will not abide by their rule, and their rule is,
What about his own party? His own party.
You see, his own party. He has even abandoned his own party now. He has. You mean for the governorship? You mean for the governorship?
Yes. Do you think he make a mistake? Because now, so if SOLUDO don't win now, I mean, do you think he has any better chance to be the governor of the state if he has contested under his own party, form a new party or whatever?
He wouldn't have won even if he had stayed in his own party to contest for governorship. He wouldn't have won because it involves a lot of money, to bribe. You have to bribe people now.
But
it's money.
But it's going for a bigger ticket.
At the local government, at that local level, you still have to spend a lot of billions of naira. A lot, and I don't think he has that money.
But it's
and I don't think he's going
for presidency. He's going for presidency now. If he doesn't have money to run for governor, now president.
All right. He has not really indicated an interest, and it looks as though we might well have a winner now. So Ajanle Koko, so just to that space, it looks as though SOLUDO's steamrolling to that seat. What are you making of that?
It looked like SOLUDO will win. We emerge as at the end. We emerge at the end of the compilation of the result and final declaration of the result. It looked like it's on that track of winning. It looked like it's going to emerge as a winner. But as Ovie said, that it never done or it is done, or what did you say, Ovie?
It's not over until it's over.
It's not over until it's over. So if we emerge as the winner, I believe politicians being what they are.
No, they will go to court. Guaranteed now. I will lawyer say it if they don't go to court. They will go to court.
They will go to court, but you never know what happened in favor of Uzodimma in Igbo State could still happen.
Do you think that can repeat? Do you think that can repeat? Do you think that can repeat? That's what happened to Uzodimma. Do you think it can repeat again? Because I think a lot of people, even they, the people that run the country, even they acknowledge that may well be that step too far. Somebody that came number 4 sitting in the front seat.
Yeah, I think Abga as a party must have seen learn a lesson from what happened in the case of Uzomdima, and they won't want that to happen in their own case. So they will do everything to resist it and make sure that their legal team will put in place use all instrumentation of law to prevent that from happening against them. So that they won't. I mean, Afghan is only one state they are holding in the whole federation. They won't want to leave it now. They want they want to fight like crazy and make sure that they prevented that. They prevent that from, happening.
Well, it's a good thing that they won that, because that would have been the end of Solomon Grundy as far as that party is concerned. It's RIP. They go and put the epitaph next to the tomb of their founder.
That is the only political legacy left behind by Odumegwu Ojukwu, and they have to preserve it and protect it so that we can continue to see that, okay, this is the party formed by Ojukwu, and it's still existing. So if not in all Igbo land, but at least in one state, his home state, he still have the firm control of that state. And I believe that this guy, this Soludo.
Yeah, do you think it's good news? Do you think it's good news for the space? And what sort of stewardship are you expecting of this chap? So do you think it's good news for Anambra, and what are your expectations of Soludo?
It's good news because for such a man that have a credible record as a former central bank governor that transformed our banking system, and a man that have served in international organization, financial organization, and according to record, he won an award, international award, when he was serving as.
I think it was Banker of the Year about 3 times. Well, because there's a global banker something. It was Banker of the Year about 2-3 times during his time. Yeah.
Nigeria is a nation that does not celebrate their best and does not put the best brain. They don't put the best brain, to manage that country. People like him should be at the top, helping the nation to plan the economic policy of the country, and put in the best, use their best connection to help the country, international connection, and everything that the nation can manage well. And but people like them, they don't give them chance. If not for Obasanjo that brought him, we wouldn't have heard of anybody like Soludo today. We wouldn't have heard of him. But Obasanjo brought him in, give him that assignment, do this thing for him. He formulated a good monetary policy for the nation. It transformed the banking system, and Nigeria did not suffer that 2008 economic meltdown. We didn't feel it.
Adaliko, can you take a question concerning the last statement you made?
What you say?
Can you take a question on the last statement?
Go on, Jafar. Go on.
Yeah, you said Nigeria did not suffer during the economic meltdown in 2009. That's not accurate, because the Nigerian banking sector was bailed out by taxpayers to the tune of close to 6 trillion naira.
Well, what I mean is that he was in charge. Even though they bail out this thing, they responded quickly and adequately, that the nation did not suffer it. It did create a economic shock. That economic shock and meltdown did not come.
He wasn't the CBN when the banks were bailed out. He was already out. He served between 2004 and 2009. By 2009, we already had Sunusi Lamido as the CBN.
Oh, okay. You was okay. Yeah. You are
so
right. It's
the
not
point
him.
I'm trying to
It's
make
not
to
me.
you is that the lack of oversight, because there was no control on the banking, the liberalization of the banking created all these, how do I call it, toxic loans, giving people loans that could not pay back. And when the depression set in, our banking sector was in a free for all. So that's his record. We can't take that away from him.
But you just said that he wasn't the one there. He has already left.
But it happened during his reign. Sunusi just came to bail out the banks.
Okay, that's
right.
Good for that correction.
Right. But
so,
that's thank you, Jafar, for that because we want to stick with facts. But essentially, you see good times ahead for Anambra State.
So this guy is a good news for Anambra State, but the problem is going to have ahead of him, what I see is he's going to run into problem with politicians in that state. He will want to run that state.
When he tells them their wolf is over, Abi?
Yes, when he tells them they are moved, yes. Because he will want to run that state as a technocrat.
Man. Yeah.
Yes, as a businessman. And running the state like a businessman will not give this politician that awoof money. And the moment they don't see that awoof money, they will start trouble with him. So I hope he will understand that game, how he's going to do it, because that is often the case when a new head comes in and he wants to, take a state on a different direction that is not good for their woof money. So they will start the trouble. So, but I hope he will understand the game and we're able to manage that situation when that time comes. So that's the only problem I see ahead of him as a technocrat. But for that state, I believe he will transform the state. He will do a lot of. He will. His personality will attract good investors and good into that state. It's a blessing for that state. Yeah.
Thank you, Ajanle Koko. For reasons of time, let me take you on to another talking point. But before I do that, let me acknowledge Alexander's super chat. And Alexander super chats to say, D. Ojoko's legacy lives on in Anambra State. Glad to know that. Soludo will be an amazing governor. Happy for Professor Data O and the indigenes of Anambra. Congratulations to Professor Soludo. So via Super Chat, Alexander agrees with you that he's looking forward to good times also in Anambra State. So thank you for the Super Chat, Alexander. So finally, let me take you to this talking point, Ajanle Koko. We won't support any candidate over 60. It is the Arewa youth saying this. So do you agree with those comments? They are saying that they want somebody 40, 50, but certainly not over the age of 60. And they also say that they agree with the restructuring. There's an over-concentration of power in the center. So to all of that, just briefly, Ajanle Koko.
I support their position for supporting restructuring, but somebody over 60, I don't want to agree with them because somebody that is over 60 does not mean that it cannot still be effective at work, cannot still be mentally alert. And so, but what I would like them to opt for is for whoever that want to be the president of Nigeria, we want to know publicly their health condition. How is their health condition? We want to know their mental capacity, if they are capable of holding such an exalted and most influential position in our country. So we want to know the condition of their health. They have to come out clean. We want to know if they are not mentally okay, or if they have a serious health problem, such person should not be given the opportunity to serve. Just as what we are experiencing with Buhari now. Buhari is not that healthy, and he occupies a position, most pressing position, that, you know, managing 200 million people, different thousands, I mean, different interest group. I mean, it's like a job, a 24 hours job. So you have to be healthy, you have to be mentally sound, you have to be physically fit to occupy that position, because that position, at least in a day, you have to be on that seat working for 16 hours. 16 hours. A serious president must be in office for almost 16 hours every day, working for that country, because to get things done for a nation, you have to be at work, you have to be at alert, you have to be ready for any situation, you have to be ready to take a decision that, you know, a good decision that we make impact in the life of the people, you know. So that is what I would like them, not 60 years. They shouldn't say because Babangida said 60 years and they comply with, they want to agree with them. No, I don't agree with that. People are still 65, can still do good job. People are still in their 70s, can still do good job. But as long as they are healthy, so sometimes we need the elderly, what do you call, the elderly maturity. We need somebody with elderly mature mind, you know, to manage that position, to occupy that position. We just don't need.
Yes, I agree. I don't necessarily. Yeah. I don't necessarily disagree with an age cap for, especially somebody that is coming in for a first term. You know, so somebody in their mid to late 70s, we may well think that the idea is not in line with our contemporary times. But somebody 60 is almost 60s. Like 40 these days, you know.
Yeah,
when you say 60-year-olds in the gym pumping iron, but
60 is not it's not too old person. No.
All right. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Ajale Koko. Let me go. Hold on, Ojue. I just want to stay on now. So I did mute you. Let me go on to Jafar, and then as I start to seek to round off. So Jafar, good to have you. So to this space, then this one I can never get past this. So feeding allowance of Nigerian prisoners more than that of graduates serving the nation. It is the DG of the Youth Service Corps alarming at the Assembly Committee where it's defending its budget. So what is emerging is 650 naira per day allocated as a meal for a copper, 1,000 naira per day allocated as a meal for prisoners. So how does that calibrate? But even worse, 26 billion naira budgeted just for 1 year, 26 billion naira budgeted for Suya in Aso Rock. So to all of that, Jafar.
Yeah, personally, my view about the NYSC is that it has outlived its usefulness.
Really?
It should be scrapped.
As a scheme? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm amazed. That's the best thing we have in that country. Defend that statement. Justify that statement.
What I said, the whole purpose was to bring people together. That's the whole point.
Right.
And what do we have?
You know that a good 30% of the Southerners in the North, they are NYSC students who went there, enjoyed the space, and decided to stay.
So what has that brought? It hasn't yielded the desired result, in my view.
Wow.
It is an institution that is plagued with corruption. I don't think the commander of the NYC should be really focused about the feeding allowance. What he should be focusing is about, just yesterday I was reading an article, not actually an article, an Instagram page, one female, how they call them, activist, was complaining to him about the corruption in his office, where if you want to save in Abuja, you are required to pay 60,000 naira. If you are trying to relocate, maybe probably to Lagos, another 60 or 80,000. I mean, just plain corruption. People don't say. So that's what he should be focused on.
No, but he can focus on more than one thing, but just as a concept, that the idea that the feeding budget, and we know that there's corruption in all of it, and all of those money, they're going to be stealing it. But the idea, just as a concept, that the feeding allowance per prisoner is almost 40% more than the feeding allowance per corper. Is that not something that you recoil from?
I don't know why he's trying to draw parallel with those two. If you arrest somebody, no matter how the crime, you take their liberty, their freedom, you imprison them, you have to feed them.
Mm-hmm.
You don't only have to feed them, you have to provide even health care to them.
So you feed them better than you feed corpers, I mean.
I don't know why he was actually making that reference, drawing parallel as if one is better or one has more claim to food than the other. It just doesn't make sense to me.
All right, and the 26 billion naira for Suya in Aso Rock.
It has always been like that. Presidency and government house around the 36 states, their feeding allowance is enormous. But to be fair to them, especially those that are the presidency, they will tell you the presidency is always hosting one function or the other. They're receiving diploma, they are receiving different sort of people. So that's always the excuse they give you. Is 36 states plus FCT plus the world that comes and feed there. So that is a space that have never, ever been like brought under the radar.
All right. It looks as though we have a governor-elect in Anambra State. 10 out of 10, 100% mark. The 10 local government areas declared so far, out of the 21, so 11 left, all of them by a vast margin to Soludo. The closest one, he's over at least 40% ahead of in number count. So governor-elect then, we are looking at now. Congratulations to Soludo, would you say?
Yeah, I agree with you. There is just no magic that he might not be able to win the election. So I was just wondering if Ajali Koko could apologize to INEC.
Oh yeah, Ajali Koko.
All of us could apologize.
You mean yesterday when we are on for Basi INEC?
Oh yeah, Ajali Koko.
We still have to wait.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mahmoud Yakubu. Oh yeah.
We can apologize.
Jaba, we still have to wait now. I mean, collation is still coming in. We don't know what we're going to see at the end of the game. So the game.
This one that they are running away with the result sheets.
Yeah, the trend is obvious. I don't see any magic from the opposition. Taking that
I don't even think the margin is so much that I don't even think that it is worth anybody's effort going to law. You know, I don't think anybody, they can go to law and they will, but it's almost
they will. That one is guaranteed. There's no time they never go to law court. They will. And just like Gobi said, we don't know.
It would be an exercise in futility because the ABGA candidate, they already went. I think they had a judgment from the Supreme Court expecting their candidate and the chairperson. So they already had that internal fight within their party that went right up to the Supreme Court. So I wonder if any party will want to go and actually waste their resources.
All right. And Jafar, to the northern youths, their position that they don't want and they're not going to be throwing their weight behind anybody under the age of 60. And they also say that there's an over-concentration of power to the center in terms of restructuring. So there's very little to disagree with any of those assertions, or would you disagree, Jafar?
Yeah, it's wishful thinking. Unfortunately for them and for us, young people don't have money to finance national campaign. Yeah, we have like 774 local government. You need to be a billionaire to actually finance such a huge, large spread campaign, except if all of us on this platform will agree and endorse our very own Alexandra Gomez for
Okay.
presidency.
No. You Alexander Gomez,
Other than that,
Lagos
other than
elite.
that,
Lagos
other than
elite.
that,
You know what
let the
Lagos
young
elites are
people,
like now? You are talking
let the,
about Buhari impunity. Lagos elite. They think they own everything. They think they
Jafar,
owns you.
Jafar,
Not Alexander.
you don't love Alexandra Gomez, so you know
I
Tinubu is
do,
from
I
Lagos
do,
as well.
and I know how
You want him
passionate
to
he
go
feels
and battle
about
Tinubu?
Nigeria. I do, and I know how passionately he feels about Nigeria, and I
Yes.
sincerely believe he can make a difference. So the point, that the larger point I'm trying to make is that what the young people we should be doing is to actually go to the grassroots, get the party structure for now, because 2023, forget it, is for the old people. They have the money, we don't.
But that's obvious language now that you have to play the long game. That's obvious long
That's the
game.
only way you can
that.
So you have to play the long game. But by the time these old people get out of the place, the people that are
But
coming up to occupy the place, they will also be old. That's the thing.
Why I don't agree with I agree with Ovie to some point, but not in totality. The what Ovie is saying that we should go to grassroots and start forming. We from here, there's nothing we can do. But somebody among us here that went over there, like Showore, went to set up a political party. They set up a political party. Why can't we from here support him?
Because people don't have
endeavor?
Confidence in him. Don't have.
No, don't say people. Just say you, one man. Don't say people.
Okay, hold on. Hold on, Ajale Koko. Let's do a straw poll now. Jafar, do you have confidence in Showore? Just yes or no. Do you have confidence in Showore?
No, and I will have my reasons.
Okay, hold on. Ovie, do you have confidence in Showore?
No, I trust.
There you are. People don't have confidence in him. People don't.
If you go, ask those guys behind the scene chatting. You will see majority of them have confidence in him. Let's go to those guys that are the strength of the platform. Those guys behind the scene chatting. Ask them and let them indicate. You will see majority of them will defeat us here.
Okay, the question is out there. Just yes or no, guys. Just yes or no. Indicate if you have confidence in Showore. But give your quick reason, then I'll go back. I'm with you anyway. Yeah, so give your reason.
My reason is that instead of Showore being on the field, creating structure of his party around the 774 local government, he spent all of his time in Abuja grandstanding. Revolution now.
Hold on. You know, hold on, Jafar. At that point, you know that politicians restricted him there. They didn't allow him to go out. That guy would have been, if he has not been restricted there.
After election, he was free to move around.
After election, he was free to move around. But when he started saying revolution now, Buhari must go.
But is it right for him to be restricted in Abuja and not go out of Abuja? How is he a threat to that country?
For him to deal with at the court. That's a matter he has to sort at the court.
It looks as though their Janle Koko fan club have decided to back him on Showore. So these are just your fans. So we are not going to counsel. They're all saying yes. But we won't.
And build structure, party structure. That's the only way you can win election. If you cannot
he has already built the party. You didn't allow him to go around to build the structure. You people did not allow him. The politicians did not allow him. They restricted him in Abuja so that he won't be able to go around and build that party. That is what they did to him.
That's not true, Ajane Koko.
That guy is one of us. It's one of us here. He left here. He went there. He took all the risk to face this Goliath and hyena. But we are not supporting. We are supporting all this hyena to kill this guy. It's not good.
They be like Eastern Quarter now. You know, they let other people hear opinion about Showore. Immediately after the election, what one man says what I expected. What Jafar says what I expected. But instead, he spent the energy trying to see revolution. Now that is when he was arrested. Now, even Mogalu too. Immediately after
you know that's even like a sore loser. He wasn't saying revolution now before the election, but after he lost the election, he's saying revolution now. So that sounds like a sore loser, doesn't it?
Even Mogalu too.
Does he not have right to? What is wrong in saying revolution
why
now?
was he not
When they
saying
are failing,
revolution now before the
when they are
election?
failing,
If he had won the
they
election,
are
would they have
failing.
said
The
revolution
administration
now?
is failing. They're taking us on the wrong course.
But
and he started saying revolution now. Let us stand up against these people.
Hold on, Jafar. Ajanle Koko, follow the trajectory. Buhari has been a failure since he came in. But Showore was never saying revolution now. But after he lost the 2019 election, he started saying revolution now. So why is it that after he lost the election that he then came to the realization that the country needed a revolution? Because the country had been badly run the 4 years up to that election. So that then tells you that it has the coloration of a sore loser. If he had won the election, would they have said revolution now? So that's
how would he say revolution now when he wasn't in Nigeria? He was in America running his
but he was running a Nigerian platform
and
now.
He went to Nigeria in 2019 to slug it out with them. And after they lost, he started revolution now because based on what Buhari has done for 4 years and failed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What is the meaning of revolution? Revolution means change, a greater change. It's not a derogatory. It's not a very bad word. It's not a. I mean, that is what it means.
Yeah, but it has the tonality of a sore loser. After he lost an election, then he calls for a revolution.
It doesn't matter when he called for demolition. It doesn't matter. It is the administration that we have to hold responsible. We have to hold them for violating his right. Why must somebody be restricted? They saw him as a threat. They don't want him to go around and develop that party that will come out as a strong force against them. And they saw that energy in him. They saw that the youth are behind him. And they took every time they are doing peaceful protest, they come with
he was causing ruckus. He was causing ruckus in Lagos, defacing public property, disrupting vehicular movement.
He didn't deface. His supporter could do that, but not him personally.
Constituting a nuisance to public order.
No, he didn't constitute nuisance. That is, you are thinking, one man, you are now thinking like those criminals we have in position in Nigeria. They saw our children that carrying out NSAS and they saw them as criminals and took arms against them to kill them. Don't let us think like those people. Don't let us fall in the same line with them.
All right. Just quick comment from you. Then I'll go back to Jafar because I'm going to round off in about 6 minutes. So just quickly from you, and then I'll go back to Jafar.
The same thing with Mogalu. One Mogalu lost the election. He ran to Washington. I expect him to stay behind and start something that will keep those his followership together. No, he come off first. Showore, you are making it difficult to even make case for Showore. Just admit where he's wrong, and so we can move forward in him. But you just thinking, say this, it don't go work like that. It doesn't work. Nigeria are wiser than that, and more sophisticated than we.
All right, thank you, V. Let me get back to Jafar, but before I get back to Jafar, let me acknowledge Alexander's super chat, which he points at Jafar. So Alexander super chats to say, thank you, Jafar, my brother, for the kind words. I am truly touched. So Jafar, Alexander for president, I think he likes the tone of that, Alexander. So there you are. So you are the campaign manager now, Jafar. You've been appointed. Alexander for president.
For a better Nigeria.
Yeah, championed by Jafar. You see, he has already come up with a slogan. So thank you, Jafar. So round off your thoughts on that space, the Northern youth, because I don't see anything especially wrong with what they had to say. Maybe the age bracket is a bit too restrictive, But certainly the idea that power is too centrally concentrated, I think that's the number one problem that we're contending with in Nigeria. So I cannot say a lot to disagree in what they said, Jafar.
I want to agree with you, but you see, like the last time we were talking about marginalization, people always like to throw these words. It is always good when we throw this word, we give them some meaning. Restructuring. I think one day, probably one of these days, with your permission, maybe we should have to tackle this issue of restructuring. Let's try to educate people. What are the restructuring? What are our options? What do we want to restructure? I am for decentralization, complete decentralization, because I believe behind every failed state in Africa, there is one office, the presidency. It's so powerful. If you go around African countries, our major problem is the presidency. That's why it becomes do or die issue. Everybody, people in any place that you see people willing to invest billions of naira to get elected into it, you just know there is something very, very attractive today. So if we make that position not very, very attractive, probably we may start gaining the benefit of democracy. But I want people to define restructuring also. Let's agree.
Oh, okay. Just quickly, and this is just when I'm saying quickly, I mean really rapidly, quickly. So just bullet points, just 2-3 points that you consider to be at the heart of restructuring. So I'll do a round robin and I'll start with myself. So restructuring for me is like a devolution of power, essentially. The breaking up of the exclusive list, the recalibration of the sharing formula, and the vesting of more authorities within the region. So a sub-regionalization sort of form. So VA, just very quickly, your thought on just like a minute or so, the Jafar's question, what you think restructuring is.
Every state should have its own autonomy.
Totally?
Yes.
Right. What does that mean?
Or at least, be in total control of your resources, of your government structure. Maybe let me not say 100%, but 80%. See how some you donate to the central rather than the other way around. Every state.
So, that's kind of confederacy you are referring to.
Say what? What?
Confederacy. That's some form of confederacy.
Yeah, for every state, yeah.
Yeah, and that was Kano's original thing as well with when he did that interview with Kadira Ahmed, a confederation. But Ajale Koko, just in like a minute, what your idea of restructuring is?
I want us to practice a full federation, a full federal system of government where the state will control their resources and manage their economic space for the development of their space, and they won't depend on the federal government allocation. And the federal government will only focus on monetary policy, defense, and security of the country and diplomatic mission. So just as we have in America, if we can have such a federation, and the local government as well will be empowered to manage their local space, that will be the best. That will transform us and emerge us as a greater nation in the world. So that's
right. All right, thank you. So Jafar, let me take you to a final talking point as I say to round off. So we are going to home territory now, a territory that we're all familiar with, Jafar. This is just, it's never complete until we hear this. INEC official absconds with 40 Anambra poll result sheets. So now we know we are having an election in Nigeria because it is never complete without that headline, Jafar.
Yeah, that's spicy. That's the beauty of the Nigerian election. You see, ballot snatching, running away with results. But whatever is the case, I don't think it will affect the general outcome of the election. It might only delay. Probably it might lead to cancellation of the result at those polling units but I don't think it would have a huge impact on the outcome of the election.
All right. Thank you, Jafar. Always a delight to hear from you, gentlemen, especially you three gentlemen, because I think you three gentlemen are really one of the stronger voices that people like to, and Black League as well, who has deserted us for some reason, is running away from that bet with Alexander Gomez, and we know Alexander Gomez is a man of his words, as he has proven today. So, Black League, don't run away, or we will track you down. If you lose that bet, I will send FBI after you anywhere in the world. You have to pay to that charity. So, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Ovie. Thank you, Ajale Koko. And thank you, Jafar. So, we seek to round off here. But before we round off, let me call your attention to something that I'm seeking to promote for people to sign up as members of the platform. I want us to have at least 10 people as members at the end of this month. We only have 3 so far, Jafar, Alec, and the 2 Alexanders. So anybody that is willing, then just go do that. And then, so yeah, I just really to indicate to the space that there's some value to it. So I'll leave it there. Carry the conversation on within the comment section, but here I say.